Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. It's a Monday. I'm shooting this video on Monday night. Happy week, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to those that are joining in for the first time. Thank you so much for always choosing my channel. I am hoping that I am making impact in your life. Even if it's a small impact, there is something that is happening. The aim of this YouTube is to exactly do that. So the video I am shooting today, it's a reshoot that I'm doing today. Actually, I did shoot this topic a long time ago, but while I was listening to it at work, I realized that there are things that I want to add. There are things that I left out, I want to add. So that's why I am reshooting this video. Actually, today we are talking about a story that happened in my life, how I became a widow at 27 years old, 4 months into a marriage. So I want to share this video this month because it's a women's month, and I know there is someone out there perhaps who's going through what I went through. And as I said, the YouTube is for strengthening women, is to know that there is someone that is there outside that has gone through a similar story or something with you. So I could have posted this video a long time ago, right? But I was thinking, because it's my story, yeah, but it involves a lot of people, and I didn't want to break people's hearts. I didn't want to open wounds. I didn't want to share. Okay, I'm saying the video is long overdue because I could have shared the story way back when I made that video that I decided not to post now. I could have shared the story, but I thought, okay, the story is mine, right? It happened in my life, but there are people that are involved, and I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to open wounds. So I considered everyone's feelings until I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I think we are okay. I am okay. I am okay with sharing because I come first. I am okay with sharing what happened. So that's why I decided to finally share what happened. So the story is about me becoming a widow at the age of 27 years old, and I was just married for 4 months, and I got married on a 3rd of December 2016, and I was a widow. The day I became a widow was on the 11th of April 2017. So it was just 4 months. It was not full 5 months. Yeah. So I'm going to share the story like a story. So I'll tell you guys what happened on the 11th, and then I'll tell you the lessons I've learned and what I am still learning till today, because there are just so many things that I've learned, and there are so many things that I think someone can take from my story, the reason I'm sharing it. Yeah. So that day or that week or the weekend prior to that day, I was really sick. I remember when I went to eat lunch with my sisters, I was sick. My back was in pain. At some point I thought I was pregnant, but I knew that I was not pregnant because I was so cautious about protection, about not having a baby early in my marriage, because I was raising my stepson, and I wanted to have a relationship that was concrete enough for him to rely on me, for us to be able to communicate and have that strong relationship together. I didn't want to bring siblings while we are not like in sync. I didn't want to bring like other kids while he doesn't understand other things in our family that we were building. So I wanted to understand him. I wanted him to understand me. I wanted to accept, to finally accept each other, because it was my first year of staying with him, and it was really, I think it was really going to be unfair for me to come with kids and to come yonke at the same time. So I knew I was not pregnant, but the stomach aches that I had some symptoms that were like of a pregnancy, but I was not pregnant. So I woke up on the 11th of Wednesday, on the 11th of April. It was a Wednesday, 2016, and then feeling really tired. My body was down. I woke up and I went to put on a kettle so that I can bath to go to work. My late husband came to me and asked, what is wrong? Are you okay? Are you going to be able to go to work? I said to him, yeah, I have to go to work. I have to go to work. Okay, so we bathed together, and I prepared to go to work. He took me to the train station. He used to take me to the train station, accompany me to the train station, and later on he will fetch me from the train station. So I took a train that morning and I went to work as normal, as usual. There was nothing wrong. We didn't hear anything. We were normal as well. So I got to work. I had 100 rand with me for lunch, right? So in my mind, I was like, okay, I want to go to the store. There was a second-hand store in Friedhoek, that sells second-hand clothes. Because I was busy focusing on raising my son, I wanted to buy him like a bedding, nice bedding, because they sold in that store second-hand beddings, and they were really nice, soft, comfortable. So I went there and I got this duvet cover. We were talking all the way until my tea time, because I went to the shop at tea time at 10 o'clock. We were talking and I said to him, look, I'm using my money for lunch now. I want to buy my son a bedding, because I want him to have his own stuff and make his own bed, prepare everything. I think I was just preparing his wardrobe and everything, right? So I bought that thing, and then I went back to work. We were talking still, like, you asked me, how are you feeling now? I was like, okay, no, I'm fine, I'm able to work, but my body is paining, like I have back aches, lower backs, I have stomach aches. It was everything, mind you, I am a new makoti, and I'm wearing a lokhwe on side, but that was nothing. It was okay, but it was windy that day, and I remember I had a jacket with me, and in that jacket I had like my train ticket. So the time came for us to go home. So I took my bag, carried my backpack, and went to town. And then when I got to town, I don't have my jacket with me. I forgot my jacket at work, and then I took my phone and I called my late husband and I said, I forgot my train ticket at work. Can you make a plan? And he was like, okay, yes, I can. I'll call someone to come and open up for you. Someone came. It was an old lady. She came and she opened the gate for me, in the side gate. I entered and I waited for a train. Now the time, I left work at 4:30, The taxi from Friedhoek to town takes about almost 20 minutes. And then I waited in a train station. I got in a train station, I think 5. I waited there for a train that was supposed to arrive at 5:30. The train arrived, I think, at 6:30 or 6:30. I got home. On my way home, before I got home, on my way home, I realized that the train is making a stop and go. It was a stop and go, as usual, because we knew that. I realized that I'm gonna get home late. I called him. I was like, babe, please, can you cook rice? And then when I get home, I will make something to go with it. Can you cook rice for me? And then he said, okay, fine, I'll do that for you. How far are you? Things like that. Like, we were updating each other the whole day. When I arrived, we were in the train station, right? I called him. I said, okay, I'm here now. The time was 2:08 at that time. I think it was 10:08 when I arrived at the train station at home. And then he came and fetched me, and we went home. I asked him, did you cook the rice? But when I got home, he said yes. When I got home, there were dishes all over, all over the table, the kitchen table. The rice, yes, was cooked, but the dishes were not washed. It's like they had their food after school and work, but they didn't clean after themselves. And then I started venting. I started going on and on about how much you guys don't care about me. You guys leave all the dishes here. I was like going on, and while I was doing that, going on and on, I was preparing the veggies for the rice. I did not cook anything that was going to take longer because it was already late for us to eat. So I cooked the veggies and we ate. By the time we ate, I think it was about 8:30. 8:30 we ate, and he went on about him wanting to buy a house while I was cooking and while we were eating, us wanting to buy a house. What is the plan? And he was taking this conversation of buying a house very serious. I think he was taking it very serious that day. Yeah, that day he was taking it very serious. Yes, we did talk about buying a house, but that day it was like, it sounded very serious to him to have us buy a house. Okay, I ate 8:30. The time we ate, it was 8:30. And then I stood up, I went into the kitchen, I washed our dishes, the ones that we used to eat. And then I wanted to relax a bit. But when I sat down, I realized that I didn't prepare anything to wear for tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up again tomorrow. So I went into our room. Then I started complaining about me not having outfit, because now I'm a new Makoti. I had to give away my old clothes. So now I don't have clothes. I started to vent about that. Look, I was venting about dishes, and then I moved from dishes. I went into outfits that I don't have outfit. It's windy, and sometimes it's hot. It's hot and windy. It's like I need clothes. It's April, and that place that I used to work at in Freedoek, Cape Town, it's very windy because it's on the mountains. And I was wearing skirts and dresses, so I was like complaining. I'm like, I need outfits. You know, when you become a new Makoti, you give away your clothes. But I didn't give away all my clothes. I didn't give away all my clothes. I know, it's gonna be like you a bed, like, why did you keep your clothes? Don't. I don't know what people say about you keeping your clothes, but I didn't give away my new t-shirts, because I knew I was going to need those t-shirts, because when you are a Makoti, you wear t-shirts a lot. So I kept my I think it was about 5 t-shirts that I kept. And then I was like, I need new outfits. I don't have clothes, and I don't have shoes. Like, when you become umakoti, you need sneakers, like maybe All Star, because now you work a lot. You attend, especially in December, you attend Miki Diongelond. So I was like, I have this one shoe, so I need like shoes now, because I'm back to work, and I need. So I was going on about that, and I wasn't paying attention so much on what they were saying. I was talking, they were responding. I was venting, and they kept quiet. So my day was like that. And I remember I ironed, I think about quarter to 9. I finished with ironing the shirt for our son, making sure his outfit was clean. and ironing my own clothes, checking his father's clothes, everything. So I sat down, I think about 10 to. We had a report to talk about because we were just coming back from the first term of school term. So he came back, our son came back with the report, which we had to review and give feedback to him so that when he goes back to school he has courage, and what does he needs if he passed well, what can we do to improve if he didn't do well in some subjects, like maybe accommodate him in the house and things like that. We had that to talk about, and we had the house thing to talk about because he constantly went back to the house topic. So I sat down, finally sat down at 10 to 9. Now I told myself that, okay, I'm gonna sit here until maybe it's time for me to bath. Maybe by 10 o'clock I'll take a bath, but I'm gonna now pay my full attention to both of them. We're gonna talk about the report, we're gonna talk about the house, right? But you know, when you are a wife, there's this thing that you need to touch everything and make sure that you're into before everyone goes to bed. And I think I was on that mode. I think also what frustrated me is what was happening with my body. I know I didn't go to the hospital, but it was just frustrating me that it was painful and I didn't know what was happening with it. And I have told myself, we had checked that I was going to go to the hospital on Friday because it was Wednesday and I wanted to work the whole week, and so that I can go to work, to the doctor on Friday after work. So I sat down, finally sat down, good 10 to 9. And I remember now I was starting to take the report and say, you've done well, Glenda, and don't. And then we had someone calling my late husband's name outside. Now it's 10 to 9, like 10 to 9, 10 to 9, 10 minutes left to 9. And then I'm like, okay. And then we kept quiet the first time the person called. You know, we stayed in a community, so everyone in a community knew us. So we understood that maybe the person that was calling him is someone next door, someone from next door, our neighbor. And the person called again, his name. And when the person called again, he answered, my late husband answered, and after he answered the call from outside, he opened the door. He jumped up and opened the door and went outside. I remember we noticed that he was not wearing any shoes. He stood up and he went outside. And then I think he stayed outside 5 minutes, and then 9:05 he came back. 5 to 9 he came back. 5 to 9 he came back, and we were still like wondering who was calling him. We kept quiet when he left, and we didn't speak because we wanted to have family conversation about these things. And he went out, he came back 5 to 9. He picked up, I remember he had his shoes under our couch. He picked up his shoe and then he wore his shoe. And we were like looking at him like, like he wore his shoe. He's not saying anything to us. He wore his shoe. He went out about, I think, 57. 57. Ixesha. 9:57 ixesha. We had gunshots. He came back 5 to 9. 57 he went back. 57 jalo. We had gunshots. And then we went out. Like we jumped out. Like we have someone that is outside. And now we want to find out who is it, because we have the father of the house is outside. So we went outside And then there he was. There he was laying on the floor. Laying on the floor and not breathing, but for the life of me, I think he was still alive because he was still moving. But people that saw him when I saw him immediately, they're saying he was already gone, but in my mind he was still alive. He was shot in the head, and we rushed to the hospital. We got to the hospital, and at night, honestly, they're trying to relax, like around zika 7 pelile, like ziqethile, because they do around zika 7, and around zika 7 ziqetyiwe, ogqirha nje nabo bayazola nje, yabo. So we got there because two guys, yeah, there was 2 guys. They drove me to the hospital. We got there. No? I'm not crying. I'm shocked. I'm streaming. Like I have blood all over me, and we are driving to the hospital. We got there. I remember the receptionist was sitting there at that hospital, and she called me. She said, because I went straight to where they were taking him, the guys that I was driving with, I went straight where they were taking him, and they took him there, and then they said that the receptionist called me, and she said, you have to open the folder. You have to open the folder. I'm like, Sissy, where do I open the folder? She gave me the folder, like I'm covered with blood. She gave me the folder, and I took the folder and I asked her what to do. Like I was like, what to do? What do you want me to do? She said, Sissy, go and pray. That was her words when I asked her what to do, because I didn't know what to do with the folder. The moment that I was in, they didn't need a folder. I think I was in a movie, in a story, and I couldn't understand what she was giving me the folder for. I said to her, what do you want me to do with this? And she said, go and pray. I went, with receptionists, there are chairs, like row chairs. I went behind the chair. I knelt down there. I think it was 1 minute. I said, God, please help me to accept if he is gone. And then I said, if he's not gone and he's alive, help me to be able to help him, to be able to be the wife to him, because now I understood he was shot in the head, and now he's going to need a care beyond the care. I don't know, like a nurse, a person that is going to be there all the time. So those were my 2 prayers. Help me to accept, help me to also accept that if he is alive, I will need to be that person to him that needs it, that he needs. Okay, I stood up and I went straight to the room where he was laying, and I said to the doctor, what is going on? The guys that I was with, they were standing on the door with the doctor. And then I came to the doctor. I'm like, can you help? What is going on? And he's like, he's already gone. There's nothing I can do. Now I'm standing there, and I'm like I want to go and wake him. I want to, I don't know what to do. Like I'm standing there, I'm shocked. There are no tears coming out. My voice is like getting dry. I'm shouting, like I don't know what was happening, and it just felt like something, like I was I was in a story that tomorrow I'm going to wake up. It's okay. You're going to wake up tomorrow. Nothing happened. You are okay. When I got home, there were people, and I tried to find our son. Where was he? He was house next door, and I went to fetch him. I was like hugging him, and he was crying, and he already notified people. And I went to the house. I was wearing, guys, I was wearing a short, ne? Makoti lona une 4 months. I was wearing a shorty, like a swimwear short, ne? With just a t-shirt, because that's what I usually did when I come back from work, just to relax myself. The lady from next door, she came to me and she said, you need to wear proper clothes. And I'm like looking at her, and she said, go get your dress, proper dress, because your in-laws are coming, and go put on your dookie. I had no dookie in my head because I was sitting in my comfort. I was sitting at home and it was at night. So I went and I got a dress, like I got a summer dress. I wore a summer dress and I put on a dookie. The blood was just getting dry on my skin because it was windy, it was night, and I just had a top on. And she said, wash your feet off the blood. I'm like, not now. Not now. I sat there waiting for my people, waiting for my parents, waiting for my in-laws. And then they arrived. That's when I started to cry and to talk, and to, like, I started talking and talking. I started to cry. I started to, yeah. So that is a story. That is what happened. That is how I became a widow at 27 years old. That is how I felt like my life was shattered at that moment, because we had dreams, we had things that we have been planning for a long time. We had list of things that we wanted to do, and at that point I felt like that was taken away from me. I had so many questions for God. I wanted to ask him so many things. I actually asked him so many things. Okay, fast forward, we went to the funeral and we came back, and I went back home, and I stayed at home for 2 days. The reason I stayed at home for 2 days was this: I have a relationship with God, and I wanted to communicate with him without boundaries, without not boundaries per se, without limits, without being told that you can stop crying now, you can stop shouting now. I know that people get worried when, but I think my parents were getting worried because I was losing weight. Like, I lost weight like in 2 seconds. I am skinny, but I lost weight like in 2 seconds. And I was like a zombie. That's what my friend used. Like, when we laugh now, because yes, we do. Like, I was like a zombie for that war period. I wanted my space, so I decided to get a room. I moved out where we used to stay. I decided to get a place for me while I'm going to therapy, while I'm dealing with me and God in this, because I needed to find out what happened to him. I've been faithful in my own terms. I've been faithful, and I tried to follow. I tried to be the woman. I tried to follow everything. I tried to be with one person. I didn't date multiple men. I had been with this man, and now that we got into marriage, the thing that supposed to make God happy, I had those questions. I said to him, the thing that's supposed to be the thing is the thing now that I feel like it's taken away. And this thing was like a pride and joy of mine, because I was like, Ooh, finally, we got it, because we've been planning this. Now we're here. Now we're here. We are doing things the right way. We finally got it. So now that was taken away. Not the thing, but also the person that I've been with for almost 7 years. Almost 8 years, because we were in our 8th year. The person that I confided with, the person that I shared a lot of things with, because 8 years was long. He was not just my late husband. He was a friend. He was a person that when I come back from work, even when I was still in school, he was a person that knew the things that I used to go through at school, and we knew our backgrounds so deep that we connected deeply. And I felt like he was taken, because one moment we were watching Uzalo, one moment Uzalo iyaphela and kuphela ubomi bethu, just like that. And I had so many questions to ask God, and I decided to move out ekhaya in 2 days after the funeral, and I went to stay somewhere else. I rented a small place because the intention was, I've been an intention person in my life, I think, for the longest time. The intention was for me to wrestle with God. The intention was really to wrestle with God, because I needed answers. I wanted to know, why does he allow things to happen the way they do in our lives? Why does he take the best things that we think we have in our lives? Why does he allow them? Why does he feel like, okay, umuntu angalala now, it's a period of sleeping, angalala ngoku, and while wena umuntu ubunalo umuntu, you still feel like you need time. I didn't go to church for, I think, for months, and not that I was not praying, because me questioning God, it was a way of praying to him, because I needed answers. I started reading a lot about stories ka Ruth. I started reading a lot about stories ka Job. I wanted someone that I can relate to. I wanted someone that understood this better, and there was no one I could find in my age, in the real world here on earth, that I could find with the background that I was looking for in my age. So I went straight to the word, and I read the stories that were there. And stories of Ruth, I liked it a lot, because of Ruth was a widow, and she umyenakhe wasweleka, and then not elizweni, sorry, umyenakhe wasweleka, and she was a woman that stayed and became faithful to the God of her mother-in-law, and she became she's a grandmother to our Jesus Christ today. So I read her story, and I was like, I remember one night after reading Incwadi kaChriselda Dudumashe, because I was reading so many books and I was crying. I finished that book in one night. I was crying that day, and I think that night was my turning point, because when things happen, we think they happen good, they happen to us, but things happen for us. And when I read the stories ka Chrysalda Dudumash, and I was like, I hope I remember his name kakuhle, but I think Chrysalda Dudumash. I was like, yo God, this happened to this woman. Why am I complaining this much? I had a life with this man. You gave us years and years and years together. We have experiences and experiences together. And why am I so bitter to you? And then that night was my turning point. I said to God, okay, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. I don't want to be a widow that uzaba semilonyeni yabantu ongaziphathanga kakuhle. Firstly, you're going to cover me. Secondly, I am not going to bandirhuqa igama le-in-laws zam phansi and igama lasekhaya. I am going to do this the way you want me to do it. I said, take over now and direct my life. That night, I made a decision of listening to God and taking a stop and stop pointing fingers at him and pointing fingers at myself and trying to find the purpose. What is it that God wants in my life? What is it that he wants me to do? Because in so many times when things happen ebomini bethu sicivana uThixo uzongipanisha, uThixo mna uyangicapukela, he doesn't like me, I've been faithful. Those were my words. I've been faithful for so long. Why is he doing this to me? And until I changed the narrative, and I'm like, God, now I am giving myself to you. I listened to Osara Jakes talking about being pregnant at the young age, and she became my friend, actually, Osara Jakes, because I would listen to her sermons. I remember one day that when I decided to go to church, I was listening to her sermon talking about her story, being looked at ngabantu, because ukuba widow at a young age is not easy, right? People feel like they can tell you what to do and how to do it. Not only your parents. I think my parents have a right. I'm still their child. But everyone feels that you except my in-laws. Yes, my in-laws can tell me what to do because I still belong to them. I belonged to them, and they had the right to tell me what to do, what to wear, when to go home. Can I go home now? Right? Equation. I'm talking about other people. Like, they feel like they can tell you, why you not a skate? Why you making on skate? Why not what happened to your dookie? You used to wear you used to and that. So akukho easy. I experienced those talks only when I started to go out, like opening myself, and I realized that people still felt powerful, that I should wear iqhiya, I should wear impahla ezinde, why ndimhle. Yeah, I remember one lady said, awusemhle, ungaba move on, right? So you experience those talks when you are a young person, especially a lady. I feel like men don't get these answers, but I don't know, I'm not a man. So I started reading, and that's how I changed. That's how I changed the whole thing. And I think the prayer that I made that day, that God helped me to accept, helped me to journey through my grieving moments. Yes, grieving is not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy. I can sit here, I can sit here and laugh with you in 5 minutes and cry in 2 minutes, just after that 5 minutes. So it's like something sparks into your mind, and your whole moment or your whole mood changes, and now it just kicks in. I would say that it just kicks in. You don't have a control when I'm doing. You cannot control when to cry, you cannot control when to smile. It's like you are in emotion, ne? Emotion, emotions. Like you break down now and then. You break down every time you talk about this person, every time you sleep. Sometimes you sleep and you think about the day. So that was my life. But that day when I read that book, I want to tell you guys a positive side about this as well. I changed the pointing of asking questions to God, and I started to listen. I started to appreciate. I started to appreciate the years we spent together. I started to lay myself in God's hand. I remember one of Obhuti Nkonzweni came to me and asked, "How did you do it?" Honestly, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it. But one thing that I can tell today is that through that experience of losing a person in my life, I found myself. I found Utembela that I didn't know that existed. A strong woman, a woman that is fearfully and wonderfully made, a woman that is strong and confident, and a woman that walks up high, because it's not wrong to have a person, but in our connection with people, we tend to forget who we are, and we tend to forget that the only God that we have is God, is not the person that we get married to or date. I think I was in a motion of, or I was already lost in myself, and I was so much focusing, if you guys can see that I was touching everything at the same time, and I was so much focusing in making this woman, me, a good wife, and I forgot that God had everything in control and I didn't have a control of anything. And through the experience of losing the person that I loved, I found myself, and I went back to self and to God. Mostly I went to God to find myself, because if I didn't ask the questions that I asked to God, or I just wallowed and accused him and left him, I could have never found myself. So it was important for me to have my space, so that I can go back to God. Ngamaxesha endifuna ugowa back ngawo, because I didn't want to have a limited time apho kuthiwa into yokubana sulila ngoku, lila ngoku, sela amanzi aneswekile ngoku, don't drink water now. Yabo, I didn't want that. I wanted to cry ngo 12 ebusuku. I wanted to cry ngo 2. I wanted to shout at God at any time. I know the Bible says we should not ask God. Who are we to ask God questions? God knows everything and He is everything. But I feel like if we do not ask our Creator questions, how are we going to know the things that we want to know? Job asked God, and God shouted at Job. Pofke sangam shouted, but answered at him. Wampendula wathi nobana answered God and said, "Who are you, Job, to question me?" But I felt like if Job could ask God questions, and I was not following God, I was not following, Job, but these questions were here, and I knew that the only person that had the right and was going to answer these questions was God. So the beautiful thing that came out of everything that happened is that, of course, the acceptance was not easy, because when you go through it, there are moments where you blame yourself, and you do not accept what happened as well, and like it's a roller coaster. You are okay today, you are not okay. It's 5 steps back, 5 steps forward, and you are playing everything in your mind. And therapy helps with talking all those thoughts out. And yeah, but I think the most person that helped me, it was God. It was realizing that the only person that had answers is God. And I want to say to the widow that is sitting today at home, at my age, okay, at that age that I was at 27 till 30 years old, you're sitting there and you don't know whether you will ever pick up your life. You are. Let me tell you, you are going to pick up your life. Losing a person, it's hard. It's really hard. And it requires a lot from us, those that experience loss. It requires you to sit still, to I didn't take any actions more than going to God. I didn't do anything, like, seriously. Like, you need to go back to the one that knows everything. Ne? Go back to him, tell him that, look, I thought I had it, and now you have showed me that I don't have it. Because he's the one that knows you thought you had it and you don't have it anymore, and he's the only one that is going to direct you how and where to pick up the pieces, because now you feel like you are usapazekile and you need a potter. You need someone to help you to pick up yourself, and allow him to do that for you. I tell people today that I don't know what happened and how it happened, but I think the moment you let go of imizamo yakho, and you tell them that, okay, I get it. I get it. I don't have life without you. I get it. I'm done questioning you now. I get it. Take control then. Take control of this life, because I don't have it without you. And God steps in. He steps in immediately. He steps in immediately. It's all about going back to God. It's all about, as angry as you are, go back to him. Don't go anywhere else. As angry as you are, go back to him and sit at his feet. Ulila unjalo. Shout if you want to. Talk if you want to. Cry for 4 hours if you have to. Go back to him. The second thing that you need to do for yourself is to find a therapy. We have recognized later on, but it's not too late. We have realized that therapy helps. It helps. Nabantu abamnyama bethuna, it helps. Go back to it if you were before your loss, and find someone to talk to. And thirdly, there are those things that are going to happen, ne? During your loss. You're going to see people for who they are. Accept that as well. Accept that some people will leave, some people will stay, ne? And accept it and tell yourself that it is a season. And don't be angry with people. Don't be angry with people. Accept everything that is happening at that time. Some people will say bad things about you. Accept it and keep quiet. Let God direct you. He knows where he wants you to be, and he's going to take you there. There's nothing that uThixo wethu ayekayo yehle emhlabeni okanye in our lives engayiyeki ngesizathu. So let God direct you, ne? And love people equally. Don't be mad at people for kuhamba. Maybe they don't know what to say. Maybe they don't know what to say. This is new for them. They don't know how to deal with this. Allow them to be who they are. And when the time comes, you guys are going to share what happened. Allow them to take the space if they want to. Allow them to be who they are. And move on with those that are close to you. There are those that are going to say bad things about you. Maybe your friends even. Allow that as well and accept it. It's going to be hard, but you are in this season, but not forever. This is not a forever season. There's no season that stays forever. Seasons come and go. They come and go. Don't allow the season to live with you. Maingahambi nawe isizini mayize ebomini bakho ishare something and iphinde ihambe, ne? So allow it to do that. And also, I think this is my fifth point. Also be mindful of the different types or the types of losses. So when you share your loss with people, don't take yours as being like it's the loss, ne? Because people lose in different ways. They lose things, people in their lives in different ways. I only realized after my loss that people that go through a divorce, that is a loss. People that go through a breakup, that is a loss. And I have only realized now that a breakup is the worst loss, because that person is still alive, and they have to see them now and then, and they have to see them move on. Yeah, we define them differently, and they do have their impacts in our lives in a different way depending on the person. But what I'm trying to say is, try to be cautious of how you share your loss, because someone else might have experienced the worst loss. Also, I'm not saying in this that you don't own what happened. Own it. It happened. It happened in your life. It made you who you are today. And I say today in Dubana, I don't think I would have heard my voice. Not that my voice was shut, but after what happened, it didn't change the outside, but it changed inside of me. And today I have a voice, and I don't know, I can't say I thank God, because someone's son slept that day, but today I am here and saying thank God. Paul Glatera Utinokbana, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that we are alive. People don't understand the word miracle. Ne? I'm saying I lost a husband in 2017, but today I'm saying thank God. It's a miracle. No one understands that, and Paul Glatera learned Utinokbana. It is a miracle that yena Paul lo wayengumncashi wa amaKristu, and ngoku uyoshumayela kumaKristu. Into zikaThixo, they are miracle. You don't understand them, but they happen ebomini bethu day in and day out, and they are miracles. And we can never say into kubana thank you God for the miracles. Thank you for ubomi. Thank you for izinto ezenzekayo that we don't understand them ezenzeke ebomini bethu. Yeah, so those are my points. I did write them down, but I'll just run through them. I did list them. I said turn the figure or a narrative and make it about God. When I said Nobana, stop pointing to God, make it about him. Tell him, okay, I get it now. Tell me what to do. Secondly, stay truthful to the calling till the end. I told you guys that I didn't want to bandibizwe ngomntu that orhuqa igama lasekhaya negama lale family bendendele kuyo. I stayed truthful to the family, and it was my oath. It was my intention. I did speak to God about it. So now, if you are a widow at a young age, don't let God's purpose ngobomi bakho burane through you. Don't do things that ezizonqasha igama likaThixo, lingcolisa igama likaThixo, and lingcolise negama lefamily zakho. Do everything under the calling. God called you for this. It is a purpose. Although I didn't like the verse that said all those that are called by his name, iverse eku Romans 8, I didn't like it because I didn't understand it back then, and I used to read it and lile phezu kwayo. I'm like, uzamuthini apho Thixo, uzamuthini. Then ngolila phezu kwayo le verse so much. verse 28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. I-purpose iza nangeyiphi indlela ebomini bethu. The way we live ubomi bethu, we live it through purpose. We do everything a purpose. We have a purpose ebomini. Even you becoming a widow at age of 27, at the age of 30, no, at the age of 40, it is the purpose. You need to live it, truthful to God at all times. And i-point yami yesithathu into yobana fulfill your duties. You have a duty to fulfill. It doesn't matter into yobana ize kanjani. Ask God to help you to fulfill it. Fulfill it until yofa i-duty yakho enikwe nguThixo. It is your purpose ebomini bakho. And listen to him, listen to God, listen to him instructing ubomi bakho. Listen to him. He is speaking, but thina siyarasha all the time. Siyarasha all the time. We want to touch everywhere at the same time. Sometimes take a sit down. Sit down, Dasi. Take a sit down. Take a sit down. I'm sorry, don't take a sit down. Sit down. Sit down and try to listen to God. What is he trying to say? Because he's trying to say something. But because Tina, we are so focusing on and we keep on talking, we're not listening. We keep on talking, we're not listening. Listen. And then he listens nasi. Into endisifundileyo. Learning who I am. You know, like being molded. You learn some things about yourself. You tend to your scars as God is putting you together. You're starting to acknowledge who you are. You're starting to have confidence in who you are, because the moment you listen to God, the moment you listen to yourself as well, and you'll be able to flourish. You'll be able to also give to those that are around you. Learn about people in general. Learn about people, as I said, when you reflect about your story. Learn, like don't tell your story, or can you take your story to be above anyone's story. Everyone's story is above kubomi babo, like siphezulu ebomini babo, because sitshintshe ubomi babo. So when you share your story, share it with humility. Be able to reflect ebantwini and ube kwi-standard where abantu can bangakwazi ufikelela kuwe xa ushare story sakho. Story sakho is about God's love ebomini bakho. It is the love of God that eyenzekileyo ebomini bakho. So when you share your story, reflect who God is in your story. Learning about loss in full spectrum. Learning about loss in full spectrum is, as I already shared, that I've learned about loss in full spectrum. And now I understand when umuntu sithi nobani we are divorced. I weep for that person because I understand a loss. And I hope you guys are going to learn something about something in this video, and you're going to take something home. And as you do that, try to be kind, try to be to have humility all the time, and try to, when I'm saying try to be kind, I know ilizwe lethu liyaphenduka ngoku, like wonke umuntu is for himself, wonke umuntu uhoye yena right now. But uphenduka kwelizwe, it's like kulapho ngoku kukhethwa imbewu, like kubona xa kuphekwa isidudu samarhewu sobutywala, like kubekho the things that are ezilapha phezulu. Ukuphenduka kwelizwe mawungahambi necharacter yakho. So yeah, that is my message to everyone. And to my widows out there, guys, life is going to be fine. Life is going to be okay, and this journey is going to be long, but it's not going to be a journey ngapheliyo. I still do think about my late husband, but life goes on. I had one time, okay, I'm about to close, I'll talk a lot. One time, there are people that still call me ngegama that I was given, ne? So one time, one person asked me, are you still fine with being called Gilgam? And I was like, you know, God allowed me to have this name, ne? Thixo uvumele yonke into yenzeke ebomini bam. He allowed yonke into yenzeke ebomini bam. I have two names, I have two surnames. When ndibizwa ngenye surname, I'm okay with that because it happened. It did happen. I cannot say when I'm angry with people that are calling me by that name. And I do make jokes today. I'm saying to those that think that life doesn't go on, that I'm soon, or I will have a third name. Because uThixo unendlela zakhe. If uThixo allows it to happen, it's going to happen ebomini bam. So ubomi buzoqhubekeka mntasekhaya. Yes, take the time you need. Take all the time you need. And also dust yourself. Don't let it raving wallow you down. Like ikuthathe, ikutshonise emhlabeni. Get yourself up. Ne? Tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to be in this moment, but there are times that kofuneka ndihambe nayo endleleni, ne? Kofuneka ndimove with it as well, so that ingade inthathe insake in. So yeah, that's all I have. Yeah, bye bye. Bye everyone.